Hey, and we want to welcome everybody, and thanks for tuning in to the Goat Locker Racing Network here. We're back here on a Wednesday night with the Maple Ridge Racing Series. We're out here at ISM Raceway, Phoenix Raceway, whatever we want to call it nowadays, for the Desert Storm 70. I mean, it sounds ominous and all that, but these super late models are making some really good lap times around here tonight. Got 70 laps again here tonight, and looking forward to it, Jamie.
Absolutely. Phoenix, one of my favorite tracks to get around. And if these guys proved anything last week, they should be able to handle this with no problems. We went from green to checkered without a caution last week. Expect the same thing again tonight. A little bit smaller of a field tonight, but that's okay. These guys will get after it and put on a good show.
Yeah, and they're running a little bit different track configuration. One, they're definitely at the new ISM Speedway here. But two, they closed the dog leg. And I don't know that I've ever either one, participated in a race or really even watched a race where they closed it off. And so for everybody that's watching the race here this evening, you'll see through the dog leg, you're going to see a set of orange cones. And really by closing the dog leg, you're not allowed to go below those cones, or you'll get a time penalty almost like you would for cutting the track at a road course. You'll get second and a half slowdown time frame. So these guys are going to have to watch that a little bit. I mean, it's marked off pretty clearly down there, but it's just another wrinkle in tonight's race.
Yeah, so it basically just makes it Legacy Phoenix with a resurfaced track, right? I mean, it's really the same configuration. You got to stay above that yellow line, which is just traditional Phoenix.
I didn't even think of it that way, but I guess you're right. So won't be seeing people cutting across that dog leg like we normally see. So guys will have to stay up in that racing groove, and we'll see how they go here. But I mean, they've been laying down some blistering times here.
Yeah.
We've seen almost everybody in the 27-second bracket there, which we were commenting before we even came on air. I mean, these guys are getting around here faster than a cup car.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, just about even really the slowest times that we're seeing in qualifying right now are getting around here faster than the Cup car. So that's impressive. These super late models will get it, that's for sure.
Yeah, and qualifying is just finished up. The starting grid has been set here this evening, so we'll turn our attention to that. It looks like Michael D'Amico there in the number 29 is going to win the pole here this evening with a lap time of 27.739. So congratulations to him on taking the pole here tonight. To his outside is going to be Christopher Morris Jr. in the number 3 machine. Starting in third is going to be Robert Allen Jr. in that number 83. To his outside, Jared Audette from 603 Motorsports in the 76. Starting in fifth is going to be Kevin. Here we go again, Jamie. Dinovich?
Yeah, sure.
All right, thanks. In that number 26. And then starting six is going to be John Dickerman from JJ Racing in that number 13 machine.
Starting seventh, and number 40, Rob Higgins is outside starting eighth. The 00, Joey Fernandez. Starting ninth, number 22, the man himself, Alex Marinelli. Starting 10th, number 9, Kevin Otis. Starting 11th, number 2, Joshua Buckley. Starting 12th, number 11, Michael Waite. And rounding out the field tonight, starting 13th, number 14, Jonathan Hancock.
So, like you said, Jamie, not a real big field out here this evening. Expect some great racing as we always do from this series. Like you were saying last week, we went green to checkered, no cautions whatsoever. Pretty quick race as well. We'll have to see how these guys traverse ISM Speedway here for 70 laps. But again, expecting some great racing. And from what we saw, during practice, not a lot of car control issues here. Didn't see a lot of guys slipping up through the corners. And obviously, with the lap times these guys are laying down, these cars are definitely hooked up into the track.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And any issues I did see in practice, it seemed to come from guys who were really trying to see how much they could get out of the car for their qualifying laps. So I imagine, we're definitely going to see some good, clean racing here tonight. And can't wait to get it started.
Yeah, it's always fun coming to Phoenix, and I know it's one of your favorite racetracks, and I quite enjoy coming here too. It's just it's different, and for me, and I won't say the name of the other track that it's different, like Pocono, because you know how much you love Pocono. But in some forms and fashions, to me, it's almost like a miniature version of that, because you have different, very different, distinctive corners here. 1 and 2 with a lot of banking, 3 and 4 pretty flat, and then you get the little dog leg that comes through as well. So, like I said, almost like a mini Pocono here, but that pace car is pulled off, and we're getting ready to get underway here.
Yeah, that was a quick pace lapse there, and we are underway.
Caught me off guard. I'm
Yeah.
sitting here comparing this to mini Pocono, and next thing I know, the pace car is pulling off. So, good on you, pace car. You caught me off guard. They are battling nose to nose here for first position, but Christopher Morris Jr. is able to power that number 3 machine up and make his way around the number 29. So he is out to the point here and is going to lead lap number 1 tonight.
Christopher Morris just kind of powered around that outside there and took this. Ooh, got a car kind of washed up the track a little bit. Looks like 13th of Jonathan Dickman, but he holds on to it.
Yeah, that was I think he might have lost a little traction there because that was a quick. Oh, we got a car that got loose. So we go back and try to catch up to see who that was back there, and we see him down there on the inside. Got the car pointed in the right direction still, so
no caution.
No caution, and it looks like that was Rob Higgins in the number 40 machine there. But he's back out there making laps, so we stay under green. These guys get things sorted out pretty quickly here. Everybody running single file at this point in time. Christopher Morris Jr. out to about a 0.4 of a second lead here. The battle's on. And we got the number, looks like the 83 machine gets real loose coming off the corner there. Looks like a couple guys fighting some loose off positions out of 4 right now.
Yeah, you really, even the Cup cars or, any other type of car coming off of turn 4, you really got to be careful on fresh tires. We do have a caution that's out now.
Looks like Kevin Otis has crashed, so we'll go back and take a look at what happened there. Looking at that number 9 black and white machine. Just steps out from underneath him, spins that car around, comes to. Not sure why that caused an actual cross, and he definitely brought it around, but was able to keep that car pointed in the right direction. So, lucky caution for him. He'll be able to catch up to the field here, and we'll get back underway here shortly.
Yeah, and as I was saying, turn 4, you really got to be easy on the throttle on that exit there, especially if you've got the car down low. It gets kind of greasy there, and on fresh tires, till you really get some heat in the tires, it can be pretty treacherous. So guys just need to be a little bit careful, squeeze that throttle, don't just slam it on like we talk about all the time.
Yeah, coming off of 4, again, as we were talking about before the green flag drop, I mean, 3 and 4 is definitely a lot flatter, and so you really got to, practice a lot of throttle control coming off of that corner. There's not a whole lot of banking to help the car hook up as there is in 1 and 2 and coming through the dog leg there. So get some heat in the tires and all that. These cars will stay hooked up. But seeing a couple guys struggle a little bit on the cold tires, but I'm sure we'll get back to some good racing here shortly.
Yeah. And you've got a lot of wheel in it by the time you're coming off of turn 4, with the flat track. So that's one of the reasons why you really need to be careful, because you got those front tires turns really sharply, and it doesn't take a whole lot when you're in that kind of position to get that back end to try to match the front. So
that's for sure. I found myself on more than one occasion coming off of 4 not being pointed in the right direction. And I think you absolutely nailed it. I mean, you do have a lot of wheel in that car. You're using some brake to really help set the nose a little bit. Feathering that throttle, trying to get off the corner, get the car pointed straight, and get a lot of power to it. We'll see these guys, work that all night long, and we're going to really start to see, hopefully, here as the green flag runs continue, just where these guys are going to be able to make passes, because Phoenix traditionally is a one-groove track. I mean, you keep it down there on the yellow line, and that's where you got to be. So it's tough to set up passes here as well.
yeah, it is, and I kind of feel one of the best places to really set up your pass is when you're coming through that dog leg going into turn 3. If you can get the run there, it's makes it kind of easy to beat people down into turn 3.
As we continue under caution here. Lights are out on the pace car, so we're going to line them up 2 by 2, re-rack them, and start this thing all over again. We've completed 8 laps of our scheduled 70 here this evening. Again, thanks to everybody that tunes in on the Goat Locker Racing Network. This is the Maple Ridge Racing Series. Sponsored by Vermont Sim Racer as well. Always got to give them a great shout out. Hopefully everybody's tuned in there at the Sim Racing joint tonight, watching a great race here from ISM.
Absolutely, no better place to be to watch a race right there than Vermont Sim Racer. Get you some racing in while this is on the big screen. Sounds like a night. What do you think about that, Brian Brogan?
Oh boy.
Did you win the practice race, Brian?
Always good to see the bro man in the stream with us here this evening. Pace car has pulled off. We're going to get back underway. Lap number 9 of 70 here completed. Christopher Morris Jr. still in the lead here. Green flag is out, and again the race is going to be on for that first position. This looks like, oh, and the 29 is going to cross him up there.
Oh, he's going to get him too.
Nice move there out of Michael D'Amico. He set that up absolutely beautifully. They're going to race side by side down into 3 and 4. He pushes up just a little bit. Christopher Morris is able to really get that car to hook up on the outside.
Absolutely. He's going to power off that outside. He's going to complete that pass and hold on to first place.
I tell you, I did not see that one coming there. He's really got a handle on that car and what it can do through these corners here. As he used the outside line in 3 and 4 and was able to power his way back out to the lead.
Yeah, looking at Michael D'Amico coming off of turn 2 through the dog leg there, I thought maybe he'd been in the stream listening to what I was saying, because he worked it to perfection, but Christopher Morris wasn't having any of it. He just took that outside and just powered off turn 4 to maintain his lead in this race.
Yeah, power move there by him to ensure that he maintains control over this race here. Michael D'Amico back to second place. Robin Arley Jr. up to third here, and then Jared Audette back in fourth position. And rounding out our top 5 right now is going to be John Dickerman in that number 13 machine.
We are under caution one more time.
And not seeing what brought this one out here, so we'll take a look as see who we've got. Maybe not quite pointed in the right direction here. It looks like Kevin Otis and a couple cars are a little bit far behind. The number 2 machine of Josh Buckley. The front end of that car is all smashed up there, so I gotta think that's what brought out our caution here. Doesn't look like any other cars have any damage, so my guess is that number 2 machine had a little bit of a self-spin there, got down into the wall or something. There's a lot of nose damage to that car. It looks like a handful of drivers are going to bring their cars down pit road.
So I got quite a few guys staying out as well. Led by Robert Alley in the 83. I mean, look, 13 laps into this race, not a bad time to try this, really.
No, not at all.
Get some track position here. I mean, right now, Christopher Morris is shown to be the class of the field, so you're not going to beat him by doing whatever he does.
Nope. So try something a little bit different here. And again, not knowing quite how far these guys can go on their fuel and things like that. Some of our front runners bring it down pit road. So we'll have to see how it plays out here and how some of these guys that stayed out, some of the guys that came down and grabbed fresh tires, how this really kind of works out for them. We are 14 laps into our scheduled 70 here this evening. A couple cautions to start this race off. Looks like a little bit of just some car control things. Again, this isn't an easy racetrack to get around. And these, still surprised how fast these cars are getting around here. So they are making a lot of power. And sometimes laying that power down to those rear tires is stepping away from a couple people right now.
Yeah, these super lates, they definitely got some power under that hood, and you really have to. Your right foot needs to be a good translator between that gas pedal and those rear wheels. So, guys are having trouble with the spinning. Ease into that gas a little more than what you are. That'll help that, and you'll probably find yourself to be quite a bit faster too.
Very true. Looks like we're stacking up 2 by 2 here. Lights are out on the pace cars. So we are going to get this restarted one more time. Christopher Morris Jr. is going to restart back in 7th position, so he's going to be leading the pack of the guys that came down pit road and grabbed some fresh tires. So 6 cars stayed out this time around. We'll have to see how these guys that took tires are able to navigate their way back up through the field here. But the race is now turned over and in control of Robert Allen Jr. for this restart. Jared Audette is outside. John Dickerman back there in 4th. Joseph Fernandez, well, he's in 4th. And then Alex Marinelli's up in the top 5, Jamie.
Good, nice recovery for him. Kind of started in the back there and worked his way up to the top 5. So always good to see.
Green flag is out at 83. Gets a pretty good jump there. 76 going to challenge down into turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like everybody got that restart cleanly. I didn't see any spinning tires, which can be a concern here. But maybe with only 15 laps on the tires, and not enough wear just yet to cause that problem. But 83 Robert Allen Jr. has got that thing out in the front, and he's set sail.
Yeah, looking real strong out front right now. Still, the 76 is back there hounding him. 13 still up there as well. Take a look at that double zero. Joseph Fernandez, I've seen the car in the field here. I've been meaning to call it out. A super sharp paint job on that thing. I mean, you'll see that car coming from a mile away. A lot of chrome on that car.
It's shining bright in that desert sun.
It sure is. But looking real sharp there. Alex Marinelli right behind the number 22 machine. And right now, we're just watching Christopher Morris Jr. be very patient back there. As he's not really moved up but one position. Got around that 40 machine. As now we're looking at Michael D'Amico, that is also looking to try to make his way around the 40 machine.
I tell you, Robert Allen Jr., he just ran a 27.9, with 19 laps on his tires. So tires may not be the important factor that they typically are at Phoenix here in these super late models. We'll have to keep an eye on this and see, but he's still putting down some really good lap times, and right now Christopher Morris is coming out on the losing end of this track position battle.
Yeah, and that 27.93 is the fastest lap of the race so far. So obviously tires aren't making that big of a difference here as he's able to set the fast lap thus far here tonight. And, like you were saying, I mean, that number 3 machine and Christopher Morris not slicing up through the field or anything like that. He's been back there in 6th position and kind of stayed back there. And these guys out front are running faster lap times than he is.
Allen Jr. is taking a nice wide arc into turn 1. That's one of those things I'm myself am not really comfortable with doing. I prefer to get down to that line in turn 1 and 2 and just stay there. But he's definitely making some good time using that arcing entry into 1. So he's opened up to a half-second advantage over the 76 of Jared Audette.
He continues to lead this race here. We've got 22 laps completed. We're scheduled 70 here tonight. A lot of great racing here so far. A couple of early cautions on, but guys have gotten this thing sorted out. Starting to get that green flag look to it here a little bit. I guess one of the things we're going to really have to pay attention to, as again we can see Rabbit Alley take that wide arc down into turn 1 there. It's just really how far these guys can go on fuel. I mean, I'd like to think that those leaders probably pit to make sure that they were within the fuel window to get to the end. So I don't know if the guys up front make it on fuel or not, Jimmy.
That's an excellent point. If I remember correctly, I believe they're running 65% fuel here tonight. So I really don't know what that equates to for a fuel run, but they are not running full tanks, that's for sure. So I imagine they're going to have to make at least one stop for fuel to get through the 70 laps.
Yeah, as we go back now, take a look at Christopher Morris Jr. He's moved himself up into 5th position. He's got his eyes set on the 00 car of Joseph Fernandez, so he's starting to pick his way up through here a little bit, as well as the 29 machine of Michael D'Amico. He has moved himself up into 6th position. Alex Marinelli has dropped back down to 7th. Still a couple spots up from where he started, so still having himself a pretty good night here. So some of these guys that grab these tires, they're starting to slowly but surely make their way up to the field. So we'll have to keep an eye on it as we watch Christopher Morris here work to the outside of the 00, as we've seen him use this outside line a couple times. Not something we would typically see here at Phoenix. Passes made on the outside, but he sure is making it work.
Absolutely, he is.
Now puts him up into 4th position here. About 2 seconds behind our leader. Consistently he's flicking away here. We'll have to see as the laps wind down. If he's able to work his way back up here to the front.
The battle for second place is starting to heat up as Jonathan Dickerman is closed up onto the bumper of Jared Audette. They have both closed in slightly on Robert Alley Jr. He did have a half-second lead. It's down to just under a tad under 0.4 of a second. So these guys are making a little bit of time up on him.
Yeah, as we take a look at that number 13 machine, sporting the Vermont Sim Racer on the hood. So good to see him out there having a great night here tonight. And yeah, the second and third place does continue to heat up here a little bit. And they are gaining ever so slightly on the first place car of Robert Alley Jr. And then don't look behind him, but Christopher Morris is now within 1.8 seconds of the lead. So he also is making up time here.
Yeah, we're seeing Robert Alley Jr. starting to drop off a little bit now. He's down to running 28.4 second laps. We had just seen him running under 27, so he is losing a little bit on these tires at this point, which, he's been on these tires for 30 laps here when they cross the line. So Christopher Morris has definitely got an advantage when it comes to tires, but still got some ground to make up.
And again, as we look at the race and how it's unfolding here, it has definitely got that green flag look to it. These guys have got these tires worn in now. Not seeing a whole lot of guys getting real loose off the corners here. So these guys that have stayed out are really going to have to start thinking about their fuel and when they're going to have to try to come get some to make it to the end of this race.
Yeah, I don't really know at this point what the best thing to do would be. I kind of feel like you're seeing that tires were not that big of a difference maker, assuming that Christopher Morris is going to run to the end, assuming this thing stays yellow.
Or green.
Well, I mean green, yes. Sorry. But, I just don't. If you have to pit now, I don't see. If you have to pit on the green, your tires are not going to make up that much of a difference.
No.
So I kind of think you kind of made your bed, and you need to run this thing out. Maybe take splash and go. to get to the end. But even with that, I mean, you're not. I don't know. You're gonna need a caution. These guys that didn't stop are gonna need a caution to have a chance to win this race.
Yeah, if they're gonna get back on the same strategy, definitely. And I agree with you, Jamie. I think you've made your decision. You've made your choice here. You got to run it out until you're on fumes. Grab your splash of gas and get the best finish that you can. If it plays out that way, closing in on halfway through the race here. But knowing these guys and knowing this league, the quality of races that they put on, they tend to have these long green flag runs. So it wouldn't surprise me to watch this thing run itself all the way out.
No, it's not going to surprise me at all, and that's why I'm kind of saying I really don't know if you're Robert Howard Jr. or Jared Audette, Jonathan Dickerman. Man, you're in a tough position right now because, you're out there, you're the front runners leading this race, but you've got to stop.
Yep.
And your opportunity to stop may have come and gone.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really seeing Christopher Morris right now. Making all kinds of headway up on his top three. He is closed in on the rear bumper of the 13 machine, down something underneath him. So I think the difference in tires is really starting to show up right now.
It sure is. Hey, Uncle Greggy, nice to see you in here. And yes, I agree with you. This is a pretty cool car track combo. These guys are really getting around Phoenix pretty dang well. We've seen most of the field in qualifying was sub 28-second laps, which you don't see that even in a cup car. So pretty cool.
Definitely laying down some fast laps around this track. It is. Well, now it's got me, kind of anxious to get out here and try it out a little bit. Run a handful of races in the super late models, and they are an absolute blast as well. But to watch the grip level and everything that these guys have here tonight, I mean, it's making for some great racing.
And and we're looking at times again. Robert Alley Jr. seems to have kind of leveled out. I mean, he, it's probably about, 10 laps or so ago, we were talking about his drop off was almost half a second, and now he's maintained that. He's running 28 3/8s and 28 4s. So his drop off is just kind of leveled off. So it's going to be interesting to see. Christopher Morris, again, he's closed within a second, but, when's that drop-off going to hit him, and are they just going to equal out? He really can't make any more gains on the leader here.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing that a little bit. Thought there, for a second, as the number 3 machine was cutting his way up through the field, that he was going to continue to just keep sawing away at it. But he's dropped back here a little bit, and it looks like, Robert Alley Jr. has picked up the pace. So a little bit interesting here on the tire strategy up front and how these cars are battling back and forth. Michael D'Amico hasn't been able to quite keep pace with Christopher Morris, but he does find himself back in 5th position at this point in time, but a little ways back.
We've seen Christopher Morris actually lose a little bit of time to leader here over the last few laps. He's back to a 1.3 second disadvantage with 41 laps complete of the scheduled 70. So we are past halfway.
Yeah, we'll have to watch our leaders here, and not knowing exactly how far that they can go on fuel. I'm going to say 95% sure. So our front runners are going to have to come down pit road and at least grab some fuel here. We've been proven wrong so many times in the past. I hate making it 100% guarantee, but it's close. It's close. We're gonna have to see.
These the top 4. Well, 3 of the top 4 have been out here on 42 laps on the same set of tires. They've not made a stop yet. So I imagine they're gonna have to make at least one stop here in this race.
Let's go back in and check in on a couple of people. Let's check that out. Marinelli back here running in the 7th position, still having himself a great night here tonight. Running back here in the 7th position. And then Kevin Dinovich? Is that what we're going with? Yeah, we're going with Dinovich. All right. Running back in 8th position. That's 3 spots back from where he started, but having himself a pretty clean night here. And I don't remember him being out here racing in any of the other races yet, so I think he's new to the league, Jamie.
I very well could be. You're right. I don't hope he hasn't been here and we're just not remembering, but
Yeah.
I don't think I remember the name, so good to see that they're bringing in new faces and growing here with Maple Ridge Racing Series. I mean, I gotta be honest. I mean, every race we've done with them, they've been really good. Really clean races, tight, competitive races. So, anybody that's wanting to join a super late model league, I definitely would highly recommend this series.
Yeah, absolutely. And, looking back up front here, that number 3 machine has worked his way around Jared Audette. So now he finds himself in 2nd position here. About 0.8 of a second back from our leader at this point in time. And there we go. Jared Audette has hit pit road. So we're going to start seeing some of our leaders come in now. So they're definitely having to come down and grab some fuel as they're only able to make it. It's going to be about 45 laps on a tank there. So that also would let me believe that guys like Christopher Morris won't be able to make it to the end either. We went green with a lot more than 45 laps to go.
Robert Alley Jr. continues to make laps here. Be 47 laps complete as he crosses the line. We'll see how further he can go.
Has hit pit lane as well. So our front runners, those guys that pitted on that first caution, obviously can't make it to the end either, as we see the number 29 machine on pit road. So it's an interesting pit strategy here playing out.
Christopher Morris has hit pit road, and Robert Alley Jr. continues to turn laps. Now, he needs to get to pit road now. Kind of rolling the dice a little too much here. If Christopher Morris has hit pit road, you need to follow suit because he's probably going to make a lot of ground up on you.
Yeah, he's bringing that machine down on pit road as we speak.
Yeah.
Carrying a lot of steam here. Hopefully he gets that thing wound up. He does. So leaders on pit road right now as we're going through a cycle of green flag stops here tonight at ISM Speedway. Been a lot of great racing, a couple of early cautions there, but we have been green flag ever since, and thought we'd have some different pit strategy playing out, but obviously those guys that pitted on that last caution weren't able to make it on fuel either, so all those cars had come down pit road, and we'll continue to watch Robert Alley Jr. here as we're going to see where he ends up coming out on the field. We've still got a couple guys that have stayed out. It looks like Kevin Dinovich is still out there, and so is Rob Higgins. So waiting for a couple of those guys to come down pit road as well. Looks like Kevin in that number 26 machine leading his first laps here this evening. Looks like he's going to come down pit road. Oh, he makes a fool out of me anyway. He is coming down pit road this lap. So that's going to leave Rob Higgins out there as the only car that is not pitted under this cycle. We're going to start seeing some of these guys that are on the fresh tires start to unlap themselves. Right now, it's looking like through this cycle of green flag stops once Robert Higgins pits. The lead's going to turn over to Jared Audette.
Yeah, and Michael D'Amico made up all that ground and has passed both Christopher Morris and Robert Alley Jr. You know, he pitted a few laps prior to them. I guess just that few laps made a big difference because he was over 2 seconds behind the leader Robert Alley Jr. before this cycle pit stop started.
Yeah, so it's looking like, you know, those guys that came down a lap too early are the ones that were able to make the moves out here on the racetrack. And we're still waiting for Rob Higgins to bring his car down pit lane. But again, there are only 2 cars on the lead lap right now. So I think everybody's hoping and praying Rob brings that 40 machine down pit lane sooner than later, as he's got a whole field trapped a lap down. Passes up the entry to pit road one more time, so he's going to continue to lap around here.
Yeah, I got a feeling Rob Higgins is going to stay out there. That thing is just about run out of gas. Not sure exactly how far that is, but he's enjoying a 26-second lead right now. So with only 16 laps remaining here, here he comes. He's bringing down pit road right now.
Real early entrance down there, but gets off the track safely. So this will turn things back over to Jared Audette. Continue to kind of wait for time and scoring to catch up, but Jared Audette is going to have a very large lead after this cycle of green flag stops. Looks to be almost a 3-second lead that he's going to have there, Jamie.
Wow, and he was one of the first ones to bring that car to pit road also when the green flag stop started. We weren't seeing tires make that big a difference. It seemed like out there for the racing, but clearly coming in a few laps before everybody else has made a huge difference. And Jared Audette, as long as he keeps that car off the wall, he's going to win this race.
Yeah, so I mean, great strategy on his part. Clean on pit road, clean off pit road. Was able to get out here now to about a 2.5-second lead. So Michael D'Amico is coming at this point in time, but we'll have to watch and see the difference in lap times here a little bit as they continue to lap around, because Jared Audette came in about 2 laps earlier, a lap earlier than Michael D'Amico. So not a lot of difference in their tires right now either.
Yeah, but several laps earlier than Christopher Morris and Robert Alley Jr. And look at the difference. I mean, they're almost 5 seconds behind him. Robert Alley Jr. is 7.5 seconds behind him. He's still has over a 2-second lead on Michael D'Amico. With 12 laps remaining, don't know that Michael's got enough time.
Yeah, Michael's made up quite a bit of time over the past few laps here. So we'll continue to kind of watch the lap times here a little bit. Still got himself a little bit over a 2-second lead, but I'm telling you, that 29 machine is coming, and he is coming in a hurry.
He looks like he's cutting about 2/10 off a lap.
Yeah, that lap by, he cut off a 10.5 there, so with 12 laps left to go, I mean, there's definitely still time to get up here and challenge for the win here tonight. Hopefully, Jared Audette in the 76 machine sees this, and maybe he's saving a little bit of tire here, but he's going to have to start laying the gas to it. Or he's going to have some company here within about a handful of laps.
And he's got some lap traffic in front of him he's getting ready to have to deal with.
That lap by, he was the faster car, so I think these tires are starting to even out.
Yeah, he went from running 28.4 to a 28.1 on that last lap, so he's definitely, I think, just been saving a little bit, making sure that he's got something left here for the closing laps.
He's able to get around that lap car, no issues there.
But Michael D'Amico knocks off 2/10 again.
Yep, so they're going to exchange back and forth here a little bit. We got 10 laps left here to go. So as we continue to see how this race is going to shape up here a little bit, Jared Audette, through a series of green flag stops here, has gotten the lead and stepped out to quite a big lead here. It's Michael D'Amico in that number 29 machine still might have something to say about who's going to win this race. And again, almost another 2/10 that lap as well, Jamie.
8 laps to go here. 1.7-second lead. Michael D'Amico's gonna have to hustle if he's gonna be able to catch him.
Yeah, I mean, that's still quite a bit of ground to make up here. And it's not only the fact of catching up to the rear of the 76, but then you got to try to get yourself around it.
Yeah.
that's not going to be an easy task because that time around, less than a tenth of a second is what he cut off. So 76 is picking up the pace, maybe just here a little bit. Going to have to continue to do that to maintain that gap. Coming up on 7 laps left to go here at the Desert Storm 70. This is the Maple Ridge Racing Series. Been a lot of great racing here again this evening. And as we see, the number 29 machine takes about a tenth and a half out again. So he's closed into about within 1.5 seconds.
He has, but with 6 laps to go, that's just not enough time knocking off to catch him. And you know, Jared Audette is closing in on some more lap traffic here. You know, and depending on the timing of where he gets around that lap car and where Michael D'Amico gets it, could really come into play as well, because he got by relatively quickly. We'll see what Michael Audette's able to do, or Michael D'Amico. These guys' names are too close together on the screen. Michael D'Amico, what he's able to do with this lap traffic.
Whatever that one car is going to do.
That's pretty much going to seal the deal. 4 laps to go.
5 laps to go here.
5 laps to go.
And the Desert Storm 70.
And a 1.3 second lead with 5 laps remaining.
Now, really, at this point in time, Michael D'Amico really hasn't been able to make up the ground he's going to need to make up. Coming up on 4 laps left here to go, he's really going to have to put on a charge. And he still has to get around that lap car, that number 9 machine as well. So I think as long as Jared Audette keeps that car pointed in the right direction, doesn't make any mistakes, hits his marks, this is definitely his race to lose here tonight. Check in on our leader before that series of green flag stops. Robert Allen Jr. is sitting back in 4th position. Still having himself a great night here tonight and running a good race. But through this cycle of green flag stops, we're seeing the lead cars kind of swapping out here. We look at Christopher Morris Jr. right now as well, sitting back in 3rd position. Again, we've talked about him a few different times here, but Michael, number 29, he's inching ever so closer here, Jamie. But again, these laps are winding down. 2 to go.
Yeah, he would have to knock off nearly half a second. Oh, he cut through almost 3/10 off on that one. So I might have spoke too soon. Michael D'Amico is definitely closing in.
Yeah, he is.
Jared Audette's looking to see that white flag when he comes to the line this time.
Michael back there is giving that car all it can handle right now, trying to get up here to the 76. He comes off turn 4 dirt tracking it, so he is up on the wheel, trying to see if he can get up there and have something to say about who's going to win this race.
White flag is out, so
this is going to be close as they head down into 3 and 4. My goodness, he sails it off into the corner.
Michael D'Amico really got in deep. He's able to hold on to it, and he's going to close to the bumper, but it's not going to be enough as Jared Audette is going to win the Desert Storm 70 here at Phoenix Raceway.
Wow, what a good race there at the end.
Absolutely.
Didn't know if he was able to get up there, and he hit the afterburners on the 29 machine, but it just wasn't quite enough to get up there and catch Jared Audette. So again, he's going to be our winner here this evening, so congratulations to him. Michael D'Amico is going to finish back there in 2nd place, and Christopher Morris Jr. is going to round out our top 3 here tonight with a great 3rd place podium finish.
Yeah, fantastic racing by everyone in the field, especially these front runners here. Really the top 4, those guys drove an outstanding race all night from start to finish. So, man, Jared Audette earned that one for sure.
Yeah, and again, through a series of green flag stops, comes down pit road a lap or 2 before everybody else, and that's what made the difference. His pit stop, combined with a little bit fresher tire to start that run off, put him out to almost a 3-second lead. It gets cut down all the way to about 2 seconds, 0.2 seconds, but he makes a great run to the finish here and a great win.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
wow, just once again, a fantastic race for the Maple Ridge Racing Series. It's becoming one of my favorite nights of the week to come out here and watch this.
there we go. Come on, man, burn them down. I was waiting on you. Yeah, it's definitely become one of my favorite nights as well. I really like these super late models. The way this league runs and the quality of drivers they don't have large fields. But, I mean, the racing has just been phenomenal. I mean, this race alone, only 2 cautions, and both of those cautions were just a little bit of car control, but even then, those guys were able to get their cars pointed in the right direction and get their cars moving. So, just an awesome group of drivers that come out here on Wednesday nights with the Maple Ridge guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we see him bringing it down pit road there after doing his burnouts and all that. So we'll wait for him to get that car parked, and we'll bring him on up here for his interview. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and interrupt him anyway. We're just going to bring him up here, Jamie. He can deal with it. Hey, Jarrett, it's Pat and Jamie up in the booth. You got a copy?
10-4.
Well, man, a hell of a race here tonight. Congratulations on the win. Looked like that pit strategy there during that green flag stop really is what made the difference for you. You getting on and off pit road clean, and a couple laps before most of the competitors had you out there to about a 3-second lead. So, kind of take me through your night here tonight and how you get that 76 home in victory lane.
Yeah, I saw the top 2, D'Amico and Morse pit, and I kind of looked at the fuel, and I thought when they pit, they were still going to have to pit either way. And after Morse pit, he made his way back up through the field past me, and I wanted to get to pit road as quickly as I could after he passed me to try and maybe short pit him and get out ahead of him, and took 2 tires. It just worked out.
Jared, man, congratulations on a great win here tonight. You beat some really stout competition and great pit strategy on your part. How was that car handling?
It was definitely a little loose, I thought, for me. But Phoenix hasn't really been a great track of mine, so for it to come out here and actually have a good finish, let alone a win, was pretty surprising.
You drove the wheels off of it, man. So congratulations once again. Anybody you need to thank? Shout out, sponsors.
603 E-Wraps on my hood. Gives me great looking paint schemes, whatever it is I'm running. So make sure you go check him out. Facebook, 603 E-Wraps. And send him an email, 603erapsnh@gmail.com.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on the win through some great pit strategy there. Get out there and celebrate, and looking forward to seeing you in the weeks coming up.
Yeah,
I think I just cut him off there a little bit. Had a little bit of a delay going on between there, but again, congratulations, Jarrett. Didn't mean to cut you off, buddy. I'm terrible at that, aren't I, Jamie? I tend to cut people off. I'm like, I think he's done talking, and then all of a sudden, oh, yep, too late. I've already mashed the button. You're gone. Hey, Mike, it's Pat and Jamie up at the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, what's going on, guys?
Well, another great race by you here this evening, man. Brought that car home in second place, and I tell you what, there towards the end, we thought you were going to be able to catch up and maybe have something to say about who was going to win this race. But a great run up through the field all night tonight. So take me through your race here tonight and how you're able to bring that number 29 machine home in second place.
Well, the funny thing is that I've completely forgot about the fuel limit that we had. And I go to look, and I'm like, oh, I only got 2 laps of fuel left. I might as well just pit, put the fuel in, and then hope for the best. I thought Jared had a pit again. But either way, I thought I was going to get him at the end. If I had another lap, I probably would have got him. Overall, the car felt really good, though, tonight. It was a little tight, but you hit the brake at the right point in the center, you could sail right off. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, Mike, man, congratulations on a second place finish. You took the pole. We saw you drop back a little bit. Christopher Morris got you on the start, and but then you that pit strategy, you made up a lot of ground and got back in front of both him and Robert Alley Jr. But how was that? We saw some car control issues from some guys early on. I'm hearing you saying the car felt kind of tight, but I think for you, it was probably about the only one. How was the car actually handling?
The car handled really good if you didn't spin the tires coming off the turn. It's really just about feathering that throttle and just, doing everything you can from preventing that rear tire spin. And you know what? You'll save your tires a lot. It honestly, about 15, 20 laps into the run, it really did feel tight. It was mainly tight but loose off, but you got to control it.
All right, sounds like Phoenix. So,
Yep.
Basically, yeah.
yeah. So, man, again, congratulations, strong run tonight. Anybody you need to thank? Shout out sponsors.
No, just thanks everyone for watching. If you tuned in, we appreciate it, and we're looking towards the fairgrounds next week.
Well, awesome, man. Congratulations on the second place finish, man. And we'll see you next week at the fairgrounds.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
How are you doing?
All right, let's go ahead and grab Chris Morris here and have a chat with our third place finisher. Hey, Chris, it's Pat and Jamie up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys.
Well, man, a great race here tonight. A lot of pit strategy came into play when guys were coming down, and you were one of the guys that came down early under that second caution and then had to come back down again. So looked like a lot of that played out here tonight. So kind of take me through your race tonight and how you brought it home in third place.
Yeah, the pit strategy kind of caught me by surprise. I got to do more practice, man. Like, the super late model's still kind of new to me, and I didn't think you would be able to get away with two tires. But Mike and Jared both did, and Jared went down pit road super early, way earlier than I did. I was trying to watch Mike. And, yeah, I didn't think that anybody would take two tires, and I saw how big of a gap they had when we came out there. Tried to push it a little too hard, caught the apron in 3 and 4, got loose, heated up the right rear, made it mad. Once you make that thing mad, it never forgives you. So from there, it was just kind of hanging on, and yeah, I'm very shocked, to say the least, that two tires worked out the way they did.
Hey, Christopher, man, congratulations on a third place finish. We saw you you took the lead right out of the gate. You took the lead from Michael D'Amico there right on the start. We noticed when you made that pit stop with about 15 laps into the race, several guys stayed out, probably 5 of them. I think you restarted 6th or 7th, if I remember right. I expected to see you just come charging back up through the field. That didn't really happen. What was going on in that part of the race? Was it just that the tires weren't that big of an advantage as we thought they would be?
No, I really don't think the tires were much of an. That's the cool part about these races being short is some tracks we go to, the tires, if you got 15, 20 laps on them, they're going to be a huge difference. And then tonight, and I think it was New Hampshire was kind of the same way. The tires don't make a huge difference for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because the track's flat or what's going on with that. But yeah, I thought I'd be able to pull more people down, and I just figured that we started off the race with a couple cautions. I didn't even take tires, actually. I don't think, on the first stop. If I did, I think I might have taken 2. I was just trying to refuel. I figured more people would want to do that. And as far as coming up through the field fast, you got to be patient. Even if you got new tires, you don't want to just go blazing up through the field because you're just burning them off. If you're running mid-pack, you can save more tire because you're braking for the person in front of you. You're not the rabbit out front trying to set the pace. So I didn't want to eat them up too quick or anything like that. And it's just good racing. It's fun. You know what I mean? You always got to be out in the lead. It's fun being mid-pack, roughing it up.
I hear you, man. And yeah, I mean, the race in this series has been phenomenal since it started. So, I mean, it looks like it's a hell of a lot of fun. Sometimes I wish I was down there and not up here, but that's all right. So again, man, congratulations on a strong run tonight. Anybody you need to thank? Shout out, sponsors?
Zach Onson. Zach was here last week. He kicked my butt back at Iowa, which was, I won't say unexpected, but kind of unexpected, right? That was a weird race. I expected the high line to be more of a thing, and it was, it was the bottom. But he'll be back next week. He's a sponsor on the car. Hi, Jakes. So thank him, and thank Alex and everybody that's been racing this season, man. It's been so much fun. Like I said, even racing in the middle of the pack, it's awesome. I could look at the race tonight and I could be frustrated that they got one up on me on pit strategy. But I'd rather look at it as it was a really, really fun race. The car was fast. It's been fast every single week. I expect it to be fast again next week. And I don't think we finished off the podium at all, other than when me and Mike toured each other at New Hampshire. So, nothing to complain about. Great night. Congratulations to Jared. Can't wait for next week.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations on another podium finish, and looking forward to seeing you get back out on the track at the Nashville Fairgrounds next week, brother.
You guys are when that track is bumpy, it's loose, and I don't think these cars are going to like that.
Well, the audience will like it, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All
Thanks
right,
so
man.
much, guys.
Yep. Well, I guess we could say it again, Jamie, but another great race put on by Maple Ridge Racing Series.
Yeah. Can't say enough good things about these guys. And again, if you were looking for a super late model series to run in, this is the place to come do it. Clean racing each and every week. Man, and it's always good competitive racing. So it's not just one guy coming out here each and every week dominating the whole race, week in and week out. I mean, it's been different guys that we're seeing win and run up front, and it's a blast. It's fun to watch.
It definitely is, man. A lot of great competitive racing, and everything you just said. It's not one guy coming out here and dominating. We saw some different pit strategy here this evening. Guys taking 2 tires. How we missed that during those stops, I don't know, but we definitely missed that.
Yeah.
But guys taking 2 tires, getting out front. Guys trying to chase him back down. Watching Michael D'Amico there at the end sail that car off into the corners, trying everything he could to get up front. We commented there coming to the white flag. He was dirt tracking, coming off of turn 4. So huge shout out to the field, everybody that helps put this thing together. Big shout out to Alex Marinelli for putting together a great group of drivers, a really cool schedule as well, and just putting some competitive races on, Jamie.
Yeah, for sure. Great schedule, great racers. Everything's been just a class act.
Yeah, so as we wind down here from the Desert Storm 70, I don't know why that's still cracking me up a little bit. I guess it's a little different than like what they used to call Phoenix, when Kevin Harvick was just smashing everybody into the ground, the duel in the desert or whatever. Another great race here this evening as we wind things down. Want to give a big shout out to Vermont Sim Racer as well, one of the main sponsors here for the series. Hopefully everybody that tuned in this evening got to watch a great race. We sure got to watch a great race. I want to also give a special thanks to some of our sponsors here at Goat Locker Racing that make everything go around for us. From Jam Printing and Promotions to Gill Insurance Advisors, Veterans 48, one of the great veteran organizations that we get to be a part of, G2G Trailers and Travis Lee Creative, just all the great veteran organizations and businesses that help us put this thing together. A lot of great racing left here in this series as we take a look at their schedule. As we've talked a couple different times, we're heading to the Nashville Fairgrounds this week coming up. So everybody be sure to tune in for that one. And Jamie, I still don't think we know where we're going on the 29th yet, do we?
No, I think they're holding a poll for that, or haven't really seen any results of that yet, but hopefully we'll know something soon.
Well, it'll be a surprise to all of us. And then starting on October 6th, we'll have a 3-race playoff start. Again, we already know where the championship race is going to be. That's going to be at 5 Flags. Whether Alex Marinelli likes it or not, we've already made the decision for him. So the championship race will be at 5 Flags. So be sure to tune in every Wednesday and check out what's going on around here. Plenty of chances to catch up with us throughout the week. Tomorrow night is our Goat Locker Racing Series, the Truck Series. It's race number 2 of season number 2. Will be at Bristol Motor Speedway for 200 laps. Should be a great race tomorrow. So be sure to tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to check us out on that one. Then we'll turn over to our Friday nights. Still no Xfinity League. I don't believe that starts until the 24th, actually. So be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 11 p.m. or Friday night at 11 p.m. for the Magic Monzo's ARCA Series. Off on Saturdays as we normally are, and then Sunday we'll turn right back around and be behind the wheel of the Rebels truck. So be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a thumbs up, a smiley emoji, whatever it takes on whatever social media platform you are to show us some love and support as we continue to go out there and support all the different leagues and veterans and police officers and firefighters and first responders that help support us. A lot of great stuff coming up for us here at Goat Locker Racing, some cool prize packs and all the other stuff. So be sure to stay tuned in. And again, we thank everybody for tuning in here to the Goat Locker Racing Network, and we will see you all tomorrow night.